What's up, everyone? Welcome to another Strategy of Catan episode with me, Iswan. I'm placing in 4th position as black in this game, and notice that straight off the bat, very low ore on this board, but the few ore spots there are clustered together. So it looks like there'll be a few players who can lock up ore in this game, and especially next to some strong wheat hexes. It could make some players kind of run away with this game. I think the strongest two positions off the bat are the 8-3-4 up the top, which blue decides to go on, and then the 6-3-11 right near it, wheat or ore. I think the 8-3-4 is the right choice first, just because if you jump on the 6-3-11, I think that there's probably a good chance you're not going to get a great secondary pick, and you might be stuck with only 3 resources, so I like that choice. Chooses to point towards the 11 ore. There are a few wood brick spots on this board, so it kind of tells me that you might be cut off by whoever decides to go on that 6-3-11, so I don't like pointing towards that ore in this position. Green goes on the 6-9-4. I really don't like this choice. I really think that 6-3-11 is where you need to go. And then red goes on the 6-11-5, wheat or sheep. Again, this is an okay pick, but considering the 6-3-11 is still open, I don't see how you can just leave that open for 4th position. So I'm definitely going on that 6-3-11, and I think that I can quite easily pair that up with the 5-8-10 down the bottom and go for a game with all 5 resources, and quite strong all 5 resources. I think also I can pair the 6-3-11 with the 8-5-10 and point my road up, getting a free road at the start of the game to cut off blue, which will mean that they aren't able to get on that 11 ore spot. This spot's also strong because I've got the sheep port down the bottom. If I can get on that 4-11 spot, that'll be lots of sheep production. Lots of brick production for that brick port at the top. So I'm pretty confident about this settlement position. Red goes on the 5-8-10. I don't really like this. I already have lots of wheat and lots of sheep. I would have gone for more ore in this game, but I guess it's a high production spot and they've got a lot of room up the top there. Green needs some wood to match with their brick, so yeah, that's a hard one for green. That's actually a pretty good spot considering that their first pick wasn't that great. That's probably the best matching position. It's going to give them a chance for longest road. And then blue just jumps on that wood port. I don't really like this. I would have preferred for them to go on the 6-9-12 and use the free road to cut me off, but oh well, here we go. Alright, let's get this game rolling. So in this game, my first move is definitely going to be getting up to that 4-11 brick port up the top there. That's going to give me more sheep and ore, which is going to make my dev card game a lot stronger. It's also going to put me on the brick port, which is going to be great use for all those bricks that I produce from the 8 brick down the bottom. And it's going to cut off blue to that really strong spot. So yeah, blue made a really big mistake by not placing on the 6-9-12 in this case. So brick's pretty rare on this board for all the other players. No one has it. So I'm going to offer a 2-for-1 trade and hopefully be able to build a settlement on my first turn. Bang, blue accepts it. So it's kind of a dumb trade from blue there. They know that I can cut them off. I mean, I could have cut them off anyway, but still, you shouldn't be trading with someone who you're in a race with, but what you going to do? So my next kind of goal is going to be to go down to the 2-for-1 sheep port down the bottom there. I do have a lot of sheep production, and that's also going to increase my brick production. So I've got a pretty good setup this game with two ports is going to make me really flexible. I definitely have the highest all-wheat sheep production in this game. Red and green do seem like a little bit of a threat for largest army, and maybe even blue, but I'd say green's probably my biggest threat. So I roll a 7 here. I'm looking who to block. Even though I think green's the biggest threat in this game, still early on I'd probably rather block 2 players rather than 1. I'm just going to steal from blue here. Wasn't really tracking the cards too well at that stage, but yeah, so I can build a road down to that 2 for 1 port. Yeah, red has lots of wheat and lots of sheep, but not much ore. Blue's in kind of the same boat. Green has more ore, but not as much wheat and sheep as I do, so I'm pretty confident for largest army in this game. Green will probably end up taking longest road just because they've got some really nice positioning on the board and a lot of space to expand to on the left side of the board there. So yeah, having all 5 resources in this game is going to be really good for me to be flexible. So I'm going to hopefully take largest army, but then also be able to build a lot of settlements as well, which I can't usually do when I'm playing a heavy all-wheat sheep strategy. So this will be a fun game. I don't usually get in games where I get all 5 resources. I probably should have tried to trade for wheat in that situation. There is quite a bit of wheat on the board, but I really just don't want to give any players a leg up in this game. Kind of want to keep everyone suppressed. But then that comes back to bite me as blue rolls a 7 and puts the rubber on my wheat. Blue building up to that 2 for 1 port, that's not going to help them at all. They don't get much ore as it is. So yeah, blue not placing on that 6, 9, 12 is pretty much destroyed their whole game, I would say. Green building over to the 9, 10. I like this because it's going to increase their wood production to become more equal with their brick production. So they can build more roads, and then more wheat's always helpful as well. So I'm going to try and trade for a wheat here, and then blue accepts again. I think blue's trading far too freely with me in this game, especially now that I'm on 4 points before anyone else has even built their second settlement. So you got to be careful when you're trading and make sure you're not trading the strong player to make them even stronger. Especially blue didn't even build a settlement from that trade. So yeah, that's a very bad trade from blue there. Green has 10 cards, so they should be building a settlement here. They've gone for a city on the 694. So I disagree with this. They should have built the city on the 10, 3, 11 to try and increase their ore production so they could get their second city faster. So that's a bit of a mistake there from green. I roll another 7. And yeah, look, I'm thinking that green in this game is strong. So even though I'm only blocking 1 player, I just don't see red or blue winning this game. So I'm going to block green there. Blue finally gets a settlement at the top that honestly doesn't help them that much at all. So now my hand's starting to get a little bit bloated, hoping I don't roll a 7 here and I get away with it. Haven't been getting much wheat from that 6 wheat, so it's kind of disappointing. So yeah, in this case, what I'm going to do is build towards the 4, 8, 3. And the reason I'm going to do this is because that spot's going to increase my sheep production, which is really good for my sheep port, but it's also going to increase my brick production. I'd do a 2-for-1 sheep for wheat to get a dev card. I should have done this before I built my road in case I got a road building, but you know, I realized my mistake halfway through the turn. So I get a knight with a development card there, which is going to be good. I'm really trying to get largest army here. I haven't bought many development cards early just because I haven't been getting much wheat. So hopefully I can start buying a few more development cards. That 2 doesn't help anyone. So red rolls a 7 and puts the rubber straight on my brick. This is probably the best spot for my opponents to block me because I essentially get a free card when the 8 is rolled. I really just don't want to trade with players here. I feel like I make every resource, even though a wheat would be handy. I just don't want to strengthen my opponents too much. Even a 2-for-1. Just don't want to allow them any kind of movement. Gonna block green again. Just because, as I said before, they're the only threat. And then, yeah, managed to build a settlement there. So I'm in a really strong position. I get a free resource on a 4. A free resource on an 8. I've got strong everything here. And now green hasn't built many roads, and I've got a nice little circle road kind of developing at the bottom here. So I've built towards that 10 wood spot just because it's the only settlement position that's only 1 road away. So as soon as I get my first city down, I'll be able to build a settlement on that spot. Hopefully it shouldn't take too long to get a city. I've already got the 3 ore, and then that's going to be 1 of the wheat there with the 2 sheep. Yeah, that 6 just has not been hitting. Green manages to get the settlement down and builds a road towards that 3-for-1 port, and look at that, I get a wheat. About time. So this game's really kind of falling together for me. Having that balanced strategy is just allowing me to do a lot of different things, and I haven't bought many development cards, but I'm looking like it's going to be pretty easy for me to take longest road. So I'm going to shift my win condition from taking largest army to probably just taking longest road. As soon as I connect up my roads down the bottom there, I'll have 7. And yeah, I just really can't see anyone else competing with me for it. I roll another 7. So being pretty lucky in that regard, meaning that I can block green, who I really still see as my only threat, do a 2-for-1 and build a city on my 6-3-11 just to make it so that my next city I can build really quickly. Yeah, I don't think this game's going to go much longer at all. Blue manages to build 2 roads. Yeah, red's just kind of stalled in this game. They've only managed to build 1 road. So it kind of just showed how weak that first position was. They didn't really have a good match for it. Now their hands probably just bloated with wheat and sheep and not much else. So yeah, even though they've got really high production, they just don't have the right resources in conjunction with each other to do anything with it. Trying to trade here but can't make it happen. I get some sheep, so it's going to definitely be a dev card here and a road building. So that road building pretty much confirms to me that I'm going to be going for longest road in this situation. I can keep that in my back pocket until I get to 8 points and then just use that to quickly snap up longest road by making a circle around the 8, completing the circle around that 8 brick down the bottom. Yeah, so that was actually a really good dev card draw for me there. So yeah, at the moment I'm going to be looking for one more city and one more settlement, and then just take longest road. Green rolls a 7 and then buys a dev card, chucks it on my 8, which is probably the right call. Red beats out blue to that 6, 9, 12 spot. Good on them. They got there in the end. It took them a while. So I'm going to offer up a trade here. I really don't want to 7 out. I really want to make something happen in this turn, so I'm trying to trade and get an ore so I can at least buy a development card. But yeah, it doesn't really look like anyone's biting. They probably realize that I'm quite strong. Blue buys another development card. I don't think there's much that's going to help them at this stage. I get 7'd out, so that's kind of why I was trying to trade 2 for 1 wheat for ore in the last turn, so this didn't happen, but it happened. Not much I can do about it. I wanted to keep the 2 sheep in my hand so I could trade it for whatever resource I needed, but then I get robbed and that sheep goes away, unfortunately. Keeping the wood in my hand because an 8 rolling now gives me a settlement, so just trying to keep the flexibility in my hand to be able to either buy a development card or build the settlement, whatever kind of hits. So dev card bought from red there. Yeah, see, maybe if they got some of these dev cards earlier in the game, it would have helped them, but yeah, so another orbit without me being able to do anything. Usually at this stage of the game I would have bought a heap of dev cards and had knights to move the robber, but just in this game I didn't get much wheat early, which really hurt me and made me unable to buy development cards. So greens expanded up the top really quickly to get on that 2 for 1 wheat port, and now they are kind of looking dangerous. If they link up their roads, they're going to get a 5 road. But yeah, my road building and all my wood and brick that I have should make it pretty easy for me to keep longest road away from green. So yeah, my hand's pretty bloated, and I think from this point I can win the game. I'm going to trade 2 for 1 brick to get that city. Just thinking here, making sure I can do all these moves, get the settlement, and then use that road building at the end, as I said, to take longest road. It's a pretty easy victory there, pretty quick. I don't usually go for a 5 resource strategy, but in this case it worked really well for me. It allowed me to expand really quickly and have a lot of flexibility in my win condition. And yeah, 48 turns, 18 minutes. Good game. Thanks everyone for watching. I tried a few different things with the editing and the zooming in this video. Let me know in the comments if you think that made the video more entertaining or you didn't like it. Just trying some new things out. If you liked the video, please leave a like, and if you want to see more videos like it, check out my channel and subscribe. Thank you.